It is now mid-November, when we all come to expect the annual 2-month-long wave of holiday recipes for whole roasted turkeys, cranberry sweets, and thyme-laden taters. This is especially true if you still subscribe to magazines, but you'll see them on YouTube as well. This makes sense, and it's not a bad thing. If you watch American football media, you expect to hear a lot about the Super Bowl every February. Yes, it's a little silly to act like we need a brand new best turkey ever from Bonat magazine, but what's the alternative? Just run the same issue every autumn? Food media producers have to come up with something to say about Thanksgiving and Christmas every year. Here's mine. Please feel free to cook the same exact thing over and over again throughout the years. I can't post a new video every month saying, okay guys, here's the recipe for pan-roasted chickpeas again, but this time with jerk seasoning instead of barbecue seasoning. That is how I cook at home, but it's not how one maintains a good channel. So I wouldn't blame viewers if they watched my work all year and thought, hot dog, this fella must cook a brand new recipe every day for his family. You wouldn't believe how many times I eat sea cuisine teriyaki salmon over white rice. Next month, I will be making pozole again. I will be baking this tart out of leftover cranberry sauce. These are the dishes that, around this time of year, I make without fail. Take a second to think about what you liked making for Thanksgiving dinner last year and just make it again. That's my whole campaign. It applies to your big annual feasts and your everyday lunches. If you're convinced, that's the end. If not, may I offer some more reasons to reconsider? 1, if you make the same thing over and over again, you get really good at making it. Don't you wish to become the type of cook who can whip certain dishes together without even thinking about the steps or the measurements? Each time you cook something, again, you increase your mastery, efficiency, and confidence. 2, if you buy one ingredient to make one recipe and then you don't make it again, you probably won't use up the rest of that ingredient. 3, making the same dish a dozen times over doesn't mean it'll taste the same each time. I have a lot of ossobuco in the freezer right now, so this winter's pozole is going to be made the exact same way as always, but this time I will swap the usual pork shoulder out for beef shanks. The overall recipe is the same every time, but small contextual changes like a cinnamon stick, a few coffee beans, or a spoonful of gochujang in the requisite red chili sauce will ensure that there's always something at least a little bit new to look forward to. 4, learning recipes fully and deeply is a surefire way to stop needing recipes for new foods you've never tried to make. What's something that virtually all of you can cook without instruction or help? Let's say French toast. You just dip stale bread in eggs that were thinned out with cream and flavored with vanilla, and then pan fry in butter until it's visibly toasted. So if you saw a video that said something like, check out this viral eggnog French toast, you wouldn't need a recipe. The cream would be swapped out for nog, and some cinnamon and nutmeg would go great in the custard before bathing the bread in it. The more dishes that you can understand that deeply, the less likely you are to see something and go, oh, I wish I had a recipe for that. Can you give me a recipe for that? When's the video for that coming out? I want to try it. If you can become familiar with the source material on which a chef is riffing, you're way more likely to understand how to replicate their work, even if all they say is, this is a tres leches cake but with Thai tea, or look at this strip steak with honey nut squash béarnaise. 5, if you serve your favorite dishes over and over again, you will permanently forge the associations that your guests make between you and your cuisine. Whether you've seen this big famous Disney movie about a food critic's favorite childhood dish, or this high-budget Kroger ad about a widower who remembers his wife by following her Thanksgiving recipes, we collectively understand that old standbys form each of our personal culinary legacies. Every springtime weeknight spent frying leek slices for this spicy ricotta pasta dish is fuel for the saltiest bittersweet tear my wife will ever shed when she cooks it for herself for the first time after my death. For those who do watch cooking media, not just for comforting entertainment, but for actionable knowledge, take a moment now, ahead of all of the holiday planning, to examine whether you actually need any new recipes, or if you've got a dozen languishing on your to-do list like so many of our bookshelves, sagging with the weight of innumerous unopened tomes. I like to consider all of the potential counterpoints to what I post online, and here is one more to cut my POV down on a personal level. Take a look at this guy's recent works: hot dogs, bagged cheese, low-effort plating, microwaved lobster, and now a plea for his viewers to try even less? What's next? Bachelor chow and pot of protein? Maybe the reality of raising a 1-year-old has made the challenges that novice cooks face more evident to me. Maybe I'm just lazy now, but whether it's cope or truth, the way I see it, eventually we get to a certain skill level in the kitchen that makes us go, you know what? I've gotten pretty good at this, and maybe a life of eating the same perfectly executed, above average dinner multiple times a month or year ain't that bad. I'd expect the same inflection point in regards to any other hobby. Every personal finance nerd needs to hit that point at which they say, okay, I've figured things out and I can take my foot off the gas, lest they spiral into miserdom. The internet often makes us feel like novelty, progress, and growth must be pursued at all times and costs. But what good is learning 900 skateboard tricks if you can't joyfully respond to the ultimate request? This year, do a kickflip. Here's a quick ad for Barkley. All month long, you can get 40% off all soft goods, dad hats, linen napkins, and the new Barkley apron for 40% off with the code BLACKNOVEMBER. Get someone a nice gift with a big discount or buy some for yourself in preparation for your big upcoming feast prep. Visit dinnerwithbarkley.com to shop now.